In most cases, life insurance is maintained by both parties post-divorce. And with regard to the payor spouse, we like to see the payor spouse maintain life insurance in at least an amount sufficient to cover the child support payments from the date of divorce to the date we anticipate the child will be emancipated. Now, obviously, there are many other costs that go into what that spouse would be responsible for paying during that time period, such as uninsured medical bills, maybe college tuition and cost, expenses, and so forth. But that's just a little bit of a rule of thumb that I generally try to apply. So if I calculate the child support out, and depending, of course, on the age of the child and the anticipated date of emancipation, if it comes to $250,000, then I'd ask for a $250,000 life insurance policy. And I also think it's important to check, because I don't see other lawyers checking this all the time, is the term of the policy. You want to make sure that whatever policy they have is going to last until the emancipation of the children, if that's the factor that you're using. That can also be an employer provided policy, but obviously nobody can guarantee that they'll be with that employer until the child is emancipated. So if the spouse, at least during a certain time period, say when they're employed by that company, is going to rely upon their employer-provided life insurance policy to meet the requirements of the agreement. I also put in that it doesn't have to be just an employer-provided policy, that the policy has to be maintained regardless of whether the person is employed. Now, we just talked about the payor spouse and how you would judge a policy for the person paying child support. With regard to the recipient spouse, their services to the children also have a value. So if you have a stay-at-home spouse, a stay-at-home parent, you have to think about what would it cost to replace that spouse's services in the event of a death. So you'd have to look at anticipated daycare cost and any other services that person does, whether it be mowing the lawn, cooking the meals, and sort of, figure out what the actual needs of the children will be. Obviously, that's a little harder than, evaluation in that aspect's a little harder than evaluating the anticipated child support payments. So in most cases, what we do is look at what one spouse maintains, the other spouse has to maintain. Another factor in life insurance is whether they already have life insurance policies, or and how, as I said, how long the term is for those life insurance policies and the amount of those policies. If the parties felt that they needed life insurance during the marriage, that view generally wouldn't change by either the parties or the court, for that matter, because if they needed it during the marriage, then they need it post-divorce as well.